Hello, this is Izzy. Thank you for taking the time to click on my video and watch it. Today I have my dude here. Today I'm going to be talking a bit about fast fashion and its effects on people and the environment. The first thing I want to say is I could talk about this for hours. It's a huge problem. This video is just going to be kind of the tip of the iceberg, so to speak, because yeah, there's a ton to talk about, but it is not something I can or want to be silent about. It's a huge issue. It's something I feel passionate about, and I think more people need to open their eyes to these things that are going on with fast fashion. I'll probably be making a bunch more videos about it, explaining it, because it's definitely not something I could do all in one video or in a short amount of time. This is the intro. But basically, in 4 words, fast fashion equals exploitation of people and the planet. And I also want to preface this, like, this discussion is going to be about when fast fashion is a choice. I know that not everyone has resources to spend a lot of money on clothes or this or that. I'm not judging anyone for partaking in fashion when it comes to certain economic situations. I'm talking about fast fashion as an industry and its effects on the people who are involved in making the clothing and the planet. These are facts, and this is the current situation. Again, I'm not trying to judge anyone. I just want to shed light to the issues that are currently there, and not just there, but growing. And I think there is such a need to open the discussion on why this needs to stop, and I want to use my voice, and I think it's important for people who can avoid demanding fast fashion, do avoid demanding fast fashion, and that means buying it. Okay, anyway, how does fast fashion exploit people? Well, oftentimes garment workers are placed in terrible conditions where they're working in really detrimental schedules and situations surrounding toxic materials, and all of that for incredibly low wages. They are not protected in many parts of the world, and large companies are literally exploiting them to the point of serious illness and even injury and death because of their conditions for getting exposed to making these clothing items in harsh conditions, and they're not protected, and the companies just continue to exploit them to make clothes as quickly and as cheaply as possible. Making them as cheaply as possible and as quickly as possible also leads to the exploitation of the environment. And this happens in more ways than you could even count. It comes to carbon emissions, it comes to pollution of rivers, it comes to pollution of the ocean, of the environment in just about every way you can imagine it. From the time that resources are gathered to mass produce these clothes, there's an exploitation of land. Land is literally getting stripped because of how much we're trying to get materials to make extra massive amounts of clothing. This kills the natural environment. There's natural habitats that are just getting slashed so that they can be used to help produce materials at these incredibly fast and large scales. When it comes to the process of making clothes, it's hugely water intensive. That means a lot of water goes into dyeing materials, processing materials to make fabrics, and then the dyes required to dye clothing is another huge issue. And all of that gets dumped into waterways and ruins the natural ecosystems and trickles all the way down to the oceans. And before that, it kills the communities of not only nature, but of the natural environment where people live, which is hugely devastating and so terrible. Also, all these synthetic and cheap fibers let off more microplastics every time we wash them. So then those microplastics and stuff are going into our waterways after every wash, and all of that leads to the ocean. Terrible, terrible. I could talk about this for hours. It's so bad, people. The carbon emissions of the fast fashion industry, the fashion industry, make up 10% of the world's carbon emissions. That is just an unfathomable number. That is more than international travel and the maritime industry. And that's just fashion. That is solely because the mass production of clothes that are being made just to meet trends and meet consumer demand to keep up with those trends. And it's all just a ploy to make money and kill the planet and hurt lots and lots of people along the way. All of that is very hard to hear, and it's even harder to see. I would encourage you to look up, fast fashion and Google Images, and it's really scary. It's environmental aspects, and it's how the people that are making these clothes are literally getting poisoned just to make them. It's terrible, and something I do want people to know, because most people go into a store, a big name store, and see a piece of clothing very inexpensive that's just meeting the trend and think at face value, oh, here's the shirt. I don't think there's a lot of people right now that think or even know about all the stuff that went into making that. And that's hugely problematic, because I definitely think that people wouldn't make these decisions of buying so many clothes if they could see its impact. And that's another thing. I mean, who knows if people care more to be fashionable or on trend, so to speak, nowadays than ever. But I like to believe that if people really knew what was going on, they would act a bit differently. So that's another purpose of this video. I will make more content about how you can tackle this issue, but the biggest thing I would encourage you to do is use what you have. Try to reduce the amount of things you buy as much as possible, and when you do buy items, try to buy them in a way that's environmentally and ethically conscious. I think everyone would be like, okay, but how? Tell me how. I don't know what to do. That's going to be for another video. This video, I just really wanted to talk about some of the different ways how fast fashion is killing the planet and lots of people. So please stay tuned. Please wake up. Please try to stay away from fast fashion whenever you can. Use what you have. Borrow it from someone. Find it secondhand. Make it if you can. Repair the clothes you have. There's tons of ways we can all act to help fight this problem. and still enjoy fashion and still enjoy the power that it gives us to express ourselves, but do it in a better way. So please stay tuned for more on this. Thank you for watching my video. As always, put any comments or questions below. I love feedback. I will be citing some of the sources of where I get this information in the bio below, but this is a very important conversation to have. And yeah, fast fashion sucks.